All right, so let's talk about it. My name is Liam Wagner. This is my dad. My dad has been a master electrician for about 40 years. Me, I have never really done anything electrical. I built a couple different pedals before I started this project, and I decided it would be a good idea to try to learn how to build this entire amplifier. When StewMac reached out, I had pitched them this idea to build one with my father, who's, unbelievable. You're just going to get embarrassed here for a minute. But he's really an incredible guy. Knowledge like you've never seen. It's truly incredible. So
It's all smoke and mirrors.
yeah, but it's been very, very interesting to go through. I followed these steps basically to a T. Not too many things that I really changed about it. Dad basically followed it. Would you say basically?
99%.
Yeah, you did a couple different things that I do think made a difference. And we're just going to kind of discuss what they are. So we have an A-B section of this where we take both that Les Paul right there and the Stratocaster, run through a couple chords, super simple. We put them exactly the same. We mic them up. They're both with SM57s. And, I mean, you're going to have to tell us which one sounds best. To my ear, I personally think yours has just this little bit of twinkle in the room, and it might not pick it up, but in the room, I would say, do you not agree that it has just a little bit of an edge?
Well, of course I do.
Yeah, well. But I guess anyways, why don't you kind of get into it? What was your experience when you built this amplifier, having done stuff like this before?
So, as you know, I like to build things. That's the key with me. I like to have my hands busy, and I've always had an interest in electronics, but as an electrician, I don't get a lot of opportunity to do that. This was a perfect opportunity, and it was a perfect opportunity to share something that I love with you.
Mm-hmm. Which we've done like forever.
We built cars, motorcycles, choppers,
just about
trikes,
everything.
Guitars.
It's funny. My mom says all the time, "You're just like Dad." I don't know if it's in a negative connotation, but that is
just
true.
Looks better.
Yeah. So, I guess kind of get into it. How hard did you think this was going to be for you?
Personally, I thought that the physical part of doing it would be a little bit easier than it was. Obviously, I'm older, so my hands don't work as good as they used to. And, I had a little bit of trouble working in the tight places, but that's what tools are for. I found hemostats to be my best friend.
That's another thing, guys. It's like StewMac provides these kits, but if you need anything, literally anything, any tool that you can think of, they have it right on the website, which is StewMac.com.
I have a list.
Oh, you have a list. Of course
Yeah.
you do. And now you'll see this is the difference as we get into it, where I basically just followed the directions. Dad charted everything down. He measured every single value of every single part before he put it in to make sure that it was to the spec that it was supposed to be. Me, I just kind of, I wouldn't even know what I would be looking for, to be honest with you. Like, I can measure and figure it out, but I am a little bit more impatient, and if I did it the way he did it, it would have taken me 2.5 years. This already took a long time, having been, I have a 9-to-5 job, I have other projects as well, but this is like the perfect little side little hobby. This was so much fun for me to put together. But yeah, it was really, really funny. And I did give you quite a hard time when you were charting every single part down.
It's fine, though. One of the things that I realized about the process early on is that it was an opportunity for me to learn something new. And I took that opportunity and I ran with it. I'm way down a rabbit hole.
Guys, it's ridiculous. You should see our house right now.
I got to say, though, I got to give props to my number one guy, Uncle Doug.
Yeah.
Uncle Doug Amplifiers
Uncle Doug's
out.
the best.
I think he's out in Arizona somewhere. This guy is the best teacher I've probably ever had in my life. Rob Robinette has an awesome website with links to more information than you're ever going to need. And then I fell into TAVA, which is The Truth About Vintage Amps, with Skip Simmons and I think his name's Jason. Yeah, Jason Berlind, who also does the Fretboard Journal. But just those three guys, plus the plethora of other people that are doing things on YouTube and other sites throughout the interwebs there, it was amazing how much information I could uncover and how quickly I could pick up and learn things that I've wanted to know my whole life. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like
how an amplifier works.
Those three that you listed, if you're looking to get into this, that was just the cheat code right there. It's if you're looking to learn and really take this somewhere, that's the cheat code. Those three guys have so much information out there, and you have to be so grateful to someone in such like a niche kind of hobby. To have those three have put out so much content, like what a gift that is.
Yeah.
I mean, what an age that we are in where you can just hop online and learn all of this stuff about such a niche topic. Like this would take you a lifetime to learn this amount of information. You've been able to learn it like so fast.
Well, you know, just listening to Skip Simmons, he talks about the Jack Dar book. I never heard of Jack Dar. I got that book. Wow. That's one of the books. That's the Bible for this type of thing. Uncle Doug has somebody put a link on to his videos that's called the Tube Amp Boot Camp. And it basically takes you from the first two videos are about safety and protecting the stuff that you're working on. And then it goes through a succession of, you know, a little bit more and more difficult topics as you go. But he talks about all the different components, the resistors, what they're for. Why do they have this resistor here? What's a grid stopper? What's a grid leak? What's a coupling cap?
Yeah, no, I mean,
what's a filter cap?
Well, these are all the questions. It's that I wouldn't even know where to begin to learn something like that. And it makes you a little bit nervous when you look at it. Like, show me the schematic right now. I'll kind of show the this. This is hieroglyphics to me. That's all this is. It still is, and I don't understand it. I'm just now starting to recognize a couple things here and there, but aside from that, I do not know how to read the schematic. But it's something that can be done, and I think that's the cool thing about these guys is they will teach you, and the information is there. All you have to do is type it in.
If you look at this one here, this is from Rob Robinette. This guy is so cool. He's like, he puts all of this stuff online for you. All he asks is that you just mention his name.
Yeah.
If you use it or talk about it or learn anything from it, what a great guy. But this is basically the signal path through the schematic, and then this is the signal path through the part layout. So this is what it looks like back here, and this is what an electrical engineer looks at.
Yeah, like this I got this. This makes sense to me. Because I can visually see it. There's no hidden code or hidden symbols for anything. This is very grade school, if you will, of learning these things. This is the picture book, and that's the actual literature.
Yeah. So this is what StewMac gives you,
which is awesome. I love the colors that they put it on. The amount of times I would just look at this while I was building it.
I highly recommend first time and second and third time builders to look at that and keep looking at it.
Yeah, it's all the information is right there. If you're ever curious about it, it's I mean, truthfully, you probably could put one of these things together just looking at this thing, but, it might take you a while.
That's the way production works.
Yeah.
Anybody that's ever worked in a production environment, not everybody that wired an amplifier or wires amplifiers now knows anything about electronics.
Yeah.
They just know where to put the parts.
Well, that's where the SOPs came into play when, Fender originally designed the circuit. It's... and I often say this at work when we were creating the SOPs for what I do is I'm like, you have to make this so anyone of any kind of like job experience whatsoever, a kid fresh out of high school has to be able to look at this and be able to execute this job. Like, that's how easy you have to make the instructions. And within the instructions in this, it's I mean, truthfully, like, I do not think that you even have to be in high school. Like, you could be in high school and put one of these together quite easily. If you took your time and did it, you could do it.
Yeah, you could. Anybody can do this if you're patient.
Mm-hmm.
Take your time.
Yeah, it's like a tricky Lego set, like a really tricky Lego set. But
the people that say, yeah, I put this together in 6 hours, well, I'd like to see their product.
Yeah.
I have more than 6 hours just in varnishing this cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I try to take my time and I want it to look decent. This is something that Liam will have probably for the rest of his life.
Yeah. Yeah, these aren't going anywhere. This is my stereo. Guys, also, just build two of them. Just build two. Just build two and do a stereo rig. You're not going to be disappointed. It's the coolest thing ever, and my neighbors hate it. And yeah, that's the other thing too. It's like these are 14-watt amps, but they are loud. You can gig anywhere. Like, so, and the other reason why we had built these things or picked this specifically was one of your favorite artists is Neil Young, and Neil Young used a 5E3 forever. He refused to use anything else. He just had that big giant box on top of it that would turn the knobs for him and do all that. What are those called? I can't remember.
I don't remember the name of it.
Anyways,
it's a one-off.
If you know who Neil Young is, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But when I think this was really when you first started like getting into nice gear, where you bought that guitar, you bought a Blues Deluxe, and I think you'd bought that Blues Deluxe assuming that Neil Young was using something similar.
No, I just really like the Tweed sound, the Tweed look, and, the tone that came out of that amplifier was something. This combination here, they're both Fender products.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Strat through these things sound just absolutely incredible. It's unbeatable.
They were meant to be.
Yeah.
But, with that being said, that Les Paul sounds pretty good through it, too.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to play with the levels a little bit and just bring the decibels down, because you plug that Les Paul in at the same exact levels, it is twice as loud.
Yeah.
It's really incredible how these things work together. It's such a kind of a live organism, this amp, and you don't get that with a solid-state amp, and truthfully, I think in a lot of my other tube amps, you don't get this as well. You can articulate so much just by the way you strike the string with this particular amp. It might not come through on through a microphone or something like that, but if you're in the room, you without question can tell the difference.
Just with your pick, you can control the volume.
Yeah.
Your pick attack, when you get aggressive with your pick, it's there.
Yeah.
It's like turning the presence knob up on a solid-state amp.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very articulate. Very articulate. Or you can have it as muddy as you want. That's the beauty of these things. Just incredibly warm sound. Tube amp in general is going to have a warmer sound to my ear.
I think my favorite part about this, it's like the volume control, like actual physical volume that's coming out. That happens all between 2.5 to say maybe 4.5, 5.
I want to say 6.
You think
is about where it tops out.
Well, okay, so then let's call it 6. After 6 is already starting to be just on the edge of breakup, and then After that, it's just dialing in exactly how much breakup you want. It's like okay, there's all your volume now. Where's your gain? And it's all there. It's not too loud though. Like to me, it is the perfect amount of volume. You can play this at any bar, and definitely mic'd up, you'd be just fine.
Yeah.
Anywhere, I'd play this
never sleeps.
Yeah, exactly. Think about how big that stage was. If it's good enough for Neil Young to use, it's good enough for you. If you're going for that tone, of course.
So, one of the things I think I've read a few grumblings about this not being a true vintage amplifier. It may not be vintage parts, but it is the vintage circuit. All of these values, if you look at the StewMac chart and parts list, you'll find that every single value in here is exactly the same as one of the Fender schematics. Mm-hmm. Okay? The way that they do some grounding might be a little bit different than the way Leo Fender did it, because he was building millions of amplifiers. He had to save money where he could. With this kit, you don't have to save money. This is probably going to be a one-off for most people, and unfortunately for me, probably about a 100 off.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I have a problem.
So I think all in all, my experience with this was extremely positive. Having been someone who has never built something like this, I've just built a couple pedals. I had the same problem that you had with the small spaces. It's just a little bit different. It's not like a pedal where you just slide it into the board and then solder it up and put it there. There's a couple little things that are kind of annoying on pedals as a beginner. But with these, you really got to take your time if you're just starting to build one of these. And go back and check every single page. Just go back and check. Just be like, okay, did I do everything to a T? And you're still going to make a mistake. You're still going to.
So you mentioned pedals. I highly recommend anybody that wants to build one of these, start with a pedal.
Yeah.
Perfect your soldering skills.
I recommend their Sun Fuzz. Now, fuzz circuits are so simple that it's kind of hard to mess those ones up. There's less pieces. You still get a cool sounding thing at the end of it, and you just start dipping your toe into it. I think that's probably the perfect pedal to build first. But they have a Sun Fuzz right at StewMac. They have I don't know what is it, like 14 pedals, something like that. Like there's quite a few pedal options. So if you want to delay, I don't know if they have a reverb. I know they have several. An overdrive, the Eric.
You built the Eric Clapton one, didn't you?
Yeah, the EC expander. That's I guess the same circuit that was wired inside of his Stratocaster. So he had one of the tone knobs where you could just roll in all the overdrive, and it was just basically that circuit in a pedal box. So that was really cool. That was the first pedal that I built, and that was a really positive experience for me. And it's rewarding. It's really cool to be able to, play something all over the place that you built. That's my favorite part about this. It feeds my ego knowing whatever sound if I'm playing out. It's like I built every part of this musical thing that is happening right now. Not only my skills that I've developed over the years, but also my skill now and knowledge of building things. It's just cool to own every piece of the performance. So yeah, it feeds my ego quite well.
Not everyone's going to be like that.
Yeah, no, I'm
don't
saying
think
that's
that
me.
You're missing something if you don't feel the need to build everything that you play through, because everyone's different.
Yeah.
For me, I love it. I wish I could play. As well as I'd like to.
Leo Fender didn't know how to play.
So I could play through all of the things that I've built. When I hear what Liam or I can't hardly wait to hear your special guest
Yeah, okay.
play through one of an amplifier that I built.
Two of them, because he did it stereo up here. So
I am going to be very, very proud of that moment. I've built guitars that people have played on stage, and so it's a small venue, but it's still, as someone that loves to build things, to hear what someone with some real talent can do with something that you created from your hands, it's extremely hard for me to explain. It's a very deep inner thing that if you have it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's cool to you've always been like that too. I feel like you really, really enjoy building things for others. I know my first guitar teacher, Taze, you built him a Ballylica. Did you build him it's called the Ballylica, correct?
Yes.
Did you build him a lap steel as well? Or did
No,
you build that for Brian?
I built the lap steel for Brian.
Yeah, so Brian Swan was my guitar teacher after Taze, and you built him a lap
Taze
steel.
Yannick.
Yeah.
One of the best players I've ever heard.
Yeah, it was sad to see him go. That was a bummer.
Very
for
much
sure.
so.
Well, a huge loss to the community, but we won't go down that route. We'll keep it positive today. We'll keep it positive.
Watching Brian play that lap steel.
Absolutely.
Now, the lap steel was something that I built off of the internet when I was first starting to get comfortable searching for things. I found a 2x6 lap steel build. And I built that and handed it to him. He asked me to customize it a little bit with a volume and tone control, and then he wanted me to inlay his initials into it. So he gave it back to me, and I did all of the things that he asked, and then I got to see him play it out, and it was an amazing experience for me. Watching you play the Flying V that we built when you were, 9, 10 years old?
So that's the other thing. This didn't just start like when StewMac had reached out to us. We've been building musical things for a while. There's pictures of me, I think, sanding down this Flying V that you built, a little 3/4 size Flying V, which a lot of the things we bought from StewMac at that time. I mean, this was a decade ago. Over a decade.
No.
Over
it was
15 years at least.
At least 15 to 18 years. I still have all of the StewMac tools that I purchased then. I use them today.
Yeah. And it's like if one of those breaks and you call them up, they replace it. They don't even ask questions. They're just like, "Yes, you need tools. Tools break when you use them. We'll replace it." Like
back in the old days.
Yeah. Well, I think we covered tons. Do you want to hit anything else?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm an electrician. People call us prima donnas. You get that from having a lot of pride in what you do. And typically you have something to back that up with. With that being said, even prima donnas make mistakes. And I made a big mistake with the amplifier that I built in getting distracted and then being
probably by me
being very complacent and being I'd say overly confident in my ability to follow some very straightforward instructions. And I didn't do a recheck at the end of the day and went on and completed the amplifier. And to my horror...
I loved this day.
To my horror, it was making some crazy sounds. But...
Mine was perfect, by the way.
To my utter surprise and appreciation, a phone call to StewMac technical support, and a couple of eyeballs on my circuit board, and very sharp eyes. They spotted exactly what was wrong. I corrected that. Probably a 5-minute correction, and hopefully you'll get to hear the amplifier, and within 24 hours, I believe is what it took, we're back in business.
Yeah.
So you will make mistakes. Do not, and I want to say that again, do not be overconfident. Take your time and check your work. Trust me on that one.
Yeah. Well, cool. We got a bunch of other things coming. This won't be the first build that you see, I'm sure. We plan to continue to build different things. Hopefully, StewMac wants to continue helping us out with that. And also, you have a couple custom builds that you're doing as well right now. We have some ideas that we would like to use. A couple interesting old vintage parts, an old vintage speaker really is the one that I am excited to see. It's like
an old accordion amplifier,
a Quartervox speaker that's shaped
goodness.
like this. It's the coolest looking speaker. So we want to try to do something with that. I'd like to hear what it sounds like, but I think the cabinet that could be built to fit that speaker could be really unique, and it really is going to depend on what amp circuit.
For all you old timers out there, think of a 6x9 that used to sit on your rear deck in your car on steroids. This
huge.
Thing's massive.
Yeah, it's a big it's really cool. But anyways, y'all, thank you for listening. And let us know what you think about the AB. Which one sounds better? Make sure to like and subscribe. Go and follow StewMac. I'll throw their tags down in the description as well.
Are you gonna do some more sound demo?
Yes, we're gonna get into this a little bit more. I really just wanted to showcase the fact that these at the exact same level, to my ear, they don't sound too different. I think you have just an edge, but I think in a recording situation, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to tell the difference. I haven't heard it through the recording yet, so I'll be very interested to see. But either way, thank you, StewMac. Thank you. Do you want to list those three again for me?
Yeah, I'm definitely the winner, though.
I don't know. You wouldn't be the winner without StewMac's technical support.
There you go.
Well, maybe eventually you would, but...
So, my picks for the top 3 places to get help. Number 1, without a doubt, Uncle Doug. Number 2, Rob Robinette. And number 3, Skip Simmons and Jason Berlin from TAVA, or the Fretboard Journal. The nice thing about that, you can call them up, or however you kids want to say, make a iNote or
DM. Is that what you're going for?
You can give them a recording of your question.
Gotcha.
And they'll read it on the podcast, and Skip will answer it for you.
Sweet. Well, all right. You can follow me at Liam Wagner 96 if you want to see some cool choppers and stuff. That the old man built. His Instagram is ewag44. Aside from that, we'll see you guys later.
Thank you.